but I hear no noise. Somebody talk. Well, I'm talking. I don't. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
can't hear
can't
it.
hear you.
There's
Mm.
no sound on the stream. Oh, now there's sound on the stream.
Hello? Hello? Oh,
Yeah,
now
Zen.
no, yeah, no, we're good,
It,
we're
it
good.
works now. It
There's a
works now.
delay. There's a delay.
However, the delay is way too extreme. I think it's like maybe 5 to 7 seconds, maybe 10.
Yeah, something like that.
That's too big of a delay. Well, if you can hear us, we did that on our first stream. Zen, remember that? It was.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's a setting on OBS, I think.
Yep. It makes
Or
sense to have when you have like moderators and things like that, but it doesn't make sense uh, when you're the ones trying to answer live reaction
live
questions.
questions, yeah. But what I'll do is that I'll have the chat open on the on my other monitor, so then I can just see what people are saying at real time.
Perfect. And is
Yeah.
this your? Yeah, same. Is this your Discord Zen that I'm looking at, or is this Williams?
No, that's Williams.
So how do we make it that? I'm assuming you're the one sharing your screen with the game stuff.
Yeah, so I can share my screen through Discord and it'll show up on the stream.
Okay, cool. So let's put that up now, just so it's looks not this right now.
Sweet. Let me see. What should I share first? Crafting UI.
I think just while we're waiting for people, maybe just have the game up and running,
Okay. Yeah,
just until our because
makes
yeah,
sense.
just put it up right now.
Okay.
And just I need to make sure that everything idle.
Right.
Nice. All right. Crypto Will says he can hear us.
Yep.
Thank you, Crypto Will. We had a couple technical difficulties, but that's how it goes. We are officially establishing our Andromeda account. So sometimes little issues arise. But thank you for joining us on a Saturday, Will. I hope you guys are ready for some good alpha. And then right after this stream, we're going to be releasing the article about shards versus andros. So you guys are going to get to see like essentially how the flow of things work in the ecosystem, how are they going to work in our games across different apps, and essentially why you're going to want to get shards and how shards can be monetized, essentially allowing you to get some value out of your in-game accomplishments, creating tradable assets on the blockchain. Zan, if you're sharing your screen, oh yeah, now I can see it.
Yeah.
It wasn't coming up for a second. All right, let's. I'm gonna put a message in the Discord, just being like, "Hey guys, we're up and live now. Sound issues figured out. Come on down." We are live now. Oh, that's VIP chat. The VIPs are really excited about the thing we're working on behind the scenes. Then the
Oh,
thing that
really?
starts with the thing that starts with a T. I shared that model that Marco made to see what they thought. Hey everyone,
Ah.
we're live now. Come on down. But yeah, I mean, I would be excited too. I am excited.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. A lot of stuff coming up in the next couple weeks, days to weeks. You know, it's gonna be a whole new game soon.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I guess let's kick it off. What we're gonna have to do later, gentlemen, is I'm assuming we could probably edit the first like 5 minutes of this out to have it start essentially when we started.
Yeah.
But welcome everybody. Welcome to DevStream number 7. Brought to you by the team at Andromeda. And essentially, we do these dev streams periodically because we want you guys to essentially see the progress that's being made behind the scenes. A lot of companies talk about building out in the open. Most of them don't. So we wanted to be this company that, every 2 weeks or so, we wanted to essentially have these streams to hear community feedback, get your guys' opinions, comments, questions, share some really cool alpha, and explain some of the things and the mechanics that you're going to be experiencing in the universe. So it's a really really cool way to always be interacting with the community, always making sure that everybody's involved, and making sure that what we're building and what we're developing and designing, you guys like, because at the end of the day, we're building all of this for you. So thank you guys so much for coming in. We're gonna, like I said, always have these things every two weeks or so. And we have today on stream myself. You guys know me as Tatted Lawyer. Happy to be here. We have our lead developer, Zen Kuro, on the call. This man's a wizard with the programmatic code. And our main man, William, he is the MC of this whole thing, or I guess the operations guy of this whole thing, as he is the operations guy behind Andromeda in general. So thank you guys so much for coming out. These guys are always working as hard as possible. You can ask Zen about our 4-hour call yesterday.
Oh yeah.
But today we're going to share some things with you. We're going to go over essentially a lot of major changes that are coming to Swarms essentially in the next basically 14 to 20 days. These changes are going to take Swarms from what it is and essentially transform it into the next stage of maturity of the game. And what that means is there's so much more to do in game. There's going to be so many more animations, weapons, enemies, and then a new mode that actually gives you a reason to challenge your friends in like a nice little solo PvP type of environment that we'll get into on the stream. So everybody stay tuned, strap in. Thank you for joining us. We're probably going to we're probably going to go for about an hour today, maybe a little over, answer some questions at the end. If you guys have any questions, it's best to put them in the chat. If we miss them, put them in the chat again. Do me a favor as well while you're watching, and I'll remind everybody of this during the chat, but everybody like and subscribe to this channel. We're going to establish this as the official Andromeda channel where we share not only our content, but we share your content as well, because we want people to see your gameplay, the videos that you make with Anime, all of that stuff, because we support the creativity of our community as well, and we want everybody to grow the same way we are. So thank you guys for coming, and without further ado, Zen, would you like to go over what do you want to talk about first? Crafting, inventory? I know lots of these are your baby.
Yeah, there's quite a bit to do. Let's start off with the crafting system, because I think that's like something that's been in the talks, been in the works for a while, and we've taken some time to really polish the UI to give people like a nice experience when it comes to crafting, inventory management, and such. I'm gonna switch my screen to the new inventory UI. Let me see. Change window. Sweet. So this is the new UI that's going to be in the game for all of your items, weapons, resources, components, you can name it. There's a lot of information on this page, and so I'm going to take time to break it down for everyone. What we have is on the left the grid layout for all the items, right? You have 4 icons on the furthest left, which are filters for different types of weapons. We have the infinity sign, which is just like all items, all whatever, anything like that. And then you have a filter for weapons, a filter for resources, a filter for components. to make the formatting and the order of the items a bit more like aesthetically pleasing and easy to navigate. We then have the slots for your items that you craft and items that you own. The slots are locked to oh, apparently Hobo said that he can't hear anything.
That's weird. I can hear you
No,
fine on
yeah, you can
the
hear
on the
me.
stream.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. No worries. I'll continue. Yeah, so yeah. So the slots are locked to the type of weapon that it is. So we have ranged weapons and melee weapons currently in the game, and so we have a slot specifically for swords and a slot specifically for like your main weapon. And that's the two diamond shapes at the next to the shoulders of your character. The three diamond shapes below is what we're saving for future additions and items and equipable augments that you can have on your character. You also have in the middle section of the screen the level of your character, and on the far right you have a breakdown of the level of your character, then as well as health, armor, resistance, speed, all of the stats that you're gonna need to be keeping track of and be aware of to know like how strong your player is doing, how you're progressing in terms of like strength, defense, agility, all of that sort of stuff. And then in the top right, we have the currency section where it just shows you how many andros you have. Andros are, yep, like officially an item in the game that you can pick up from enemies being killed, from completing achievements, challenges, or completing missions, and those are all stored on our server side, and can be retrieved at any time to know, like, you know, how much the currency you have, and so on.
And Zen, what can you tell? Can you tell the players? And I can go into this a little bit as well, but
Mm.
can you tell the players what Andros will have to do with the inventory system and how that would work too?
Yeah,
With
so
yeah, you got it.
with the inventory system and crafting system, right?
Yep.
Yep. So the andros are like the primary currency of the game. The andros that you collect are going to be used to craft, are going to be used for like different systems in the game that require some form of payment. That's for crafting, that's for trading, that's for oh, that might have been a spoiler. That's for crafting and for any system that requires any kind of payment system. The andros will act as like a sort of a buffer where you have to kind of work towards earning these currencies, earning this currency in order to be able to craft better weapons, better items, better armor, better augments, which will make your experience in the survival mode leaderboard better, as well as your experience in the new challenge mode. I really like the look of this dashboard.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
That's that.
yeah.
All credit goes to Marco.
Hmm.
This man, our head of design, Marco, is just so you guys know, get a little background. He's got about 15 plus years in graphic design work, and he's actually designed models, characters, environments. Obviously, you can tell UX UI screens for over 50 plus video games. And the man's also actually, before signing on board with us, he was working on his own video game on the side, which is actually a game that we're going to add into Swarm Survivors as like a mini game within the game. but we'll explain that more. But Marco he's been incredible. He's actually the genius behind the design of all of our models, the cell shading, how our universe essentially looks. So
Mm.
he gets a ton of credit. He's not on stream today. But we would, excuse me, we are so very fortunate to have someone like Marco on the team, as talented as he is, to make such cool things that you guys see here today.
Hmm.
Yes, Hobo Jack, you're back, my friend. I love it. But yeah, keep going, Zen. I just want to give Marco his kudos.
Of course, yeah. Marco has really done a great job here. I'd say that this will probably be one of the pages that you're gonna see quite often in the game, right? And the aesthetic is gonna match throughout the game, and so you'll be seeing aspects of the inventory, such as like this grid setup for the items in areas like the in-game how do I word this? The in-mission results screen, right? So you know how currently the once you die at the end of a mission, you just sort of get a high score and you can, restart or go back to the main menu. We're also reworking that UI as well to bring more information to the player about what item they've picked up, what items they've picked up, how much of the Andros they've collected, as well as other breakdowns in stats and other metrics. Because we think that, one of the best ways to understand if you're, playing the game modes correctly is if you have a breakdown of this information, if you have a breakdown of um, the stats while you're playing through the game. And another good feature as well is that crafting is going to be basically like the bread and butter of your experience in swarms. And so being able to know what items you've gotten throughout your each run you do will make it a lot easier to plan ahead and see, oh, maybe I need 15 of so item or 20 of this item, and you can cater your gameplay and cater your style to getting these items and checking your um, results table or results screen in real time to see, oh yeah, I've got enough items I can extract or I can leave or I can die. And so yeah, the focus of these last couple of weeks has been to improve the the overall user experience and the user feedback, um, to make sure that as we add in new features and more complicated systems, everything from at least the player's perspective is like just as digestible, if not easier to digest and understand than before. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Unless I'm missing anything. For the UI, I mean. Is the hello?
Sorry about that. I got a
Yep.
phone call and it kicked me off.
No worries.
Um, no, Zen, that was a really good explanation of how it will work. And yes, just to piggyback a little bit off what Zen was saying, in terms of your experience in swarms is exactly what he said, and a lot of it was inspired by how we were running the fusion systems for the last 2 years. And the reason for this is you're basically going into into the survival mode, which is the current game mode. And in that mode, you'll be able to earn. I'm sure you guys have seen enemies have dropped certain things after you beat them, and they're like, "Oh, you've collected this material, you've collected this, you collected that," and so essentially, all these enemies will be dropping various different materials. The higher waves will be dropping, excuse me, better materials and better blueprints. So
Oh
essentially,
yeah.
the
Mhm.
the foundation of the crafting system is you basically have to have the proper materials in order to craft. You have to have the proper components for the weapon you want to craft, and also you have to have the actual blueprint for the weapon in order to be able to craft it. And how you find these is you find them by playing the survival mode. Obviously, that's the only game mode that you guys are familiar with right now, but we're going to be introducing the second game mode here in a second. But
Mm.
the point of this is as you go through the higher waves, the enemies start to drop better things, so better items, better materials, and higher level blueprints. And then a lot of people have asked me and us many times, like, what is leveling of a character have to do? So essentially, the higher the level of your character, the better the chance you have of getting better things being dropped to you. So better things could be like high rarity blueprints, for example. Better things could be high rarity items. Better things could be a ton of andros when you beat a boss or beat an enemy. There's a lot of different things that we consider high value items. And so like if you're a level one, you know, you're probably going to get drops that are very common. You know, just like any game that you'd start, very common drops. As you begin to level up, you're going to get much higher tier drops because your character is now essentially rolling the dice of like the randomness dice for the drop at a higher level with a higher percentage chance of getting better things. And also secondary for the leveling system is a lot of these weapons and armor that you can craft will be level gated, meaning that you need to be your characters or your avatars need to be a certain level for them to wield these weapons at all. And the importance of this is, as like I said, we're going to introduce a new game mode here, but essentially you're going to want to craft these items because you're going to want to go in this game mode as powerful as possible in order to basically be taking other people's stuff from them. And so I think this is a good segue, Zen, into you introducing the challenge mode.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it's just like Michael said, the challenge mode. We wanted to provide a way to allow players to sort of interact a bit more. Currently, the game feels quite like a solo experience where, you know, you sort of just play your own games, get your own high scores, and, you know, put that on the leaderboard. And, you know, the system works well and it's enjoyable, but the vision that we have for this game is that, you know, we want players to interact. We want players to eventually even be able to play missions together, right? And so the challenge mode is the first step in bringing that interactivity between players, well, to the players. I'm gonna switch to my thing. Let me play the pause. Change windows.
And just so you guys
Sweet.
know,
There we go.
we're super excited about this mode because it's literally how we allow solo play to become multiplayer play. And I'm so hyped about it because we talked about it internally, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, this is a great idea!" And I can't wait for us to give you the nuts and bolts and the nitty gritty, and then obviously to launch it live to you guys because I want to see some competition between the Sevens and the Outcasts. But I'll let Zen explain even further. So take it away, Zen.
Appreciate that. So, challenger mode. The way it works is the andros that you collect through the survival game mode are attached to your inventory. They're in your inventory, you own them, those are yours. But we wanted to add a way where if you didn't want to necessarily just play survival to get andros, you'd have like an alternative route. And so this is where the challenges system is, well, that's what it's for. The challenges system allows you to essentially play this new game mode and bet a certain amount of andros that you've collected throughout your single player like PvE playthroughs. And you can bet a certain amount of these andros to let's say lock in your run. The game mode of challenges is the initial five waves that are similar to the survival game mode, but then once you've completed 5 waves, it switches completely to a time-based system where you have to constantly be getting kills while enemies keep spawning around you, and getting these kills and killing these enemies consistently will let you get further and get higher and higher time, right? And this time in combination with your initial 5 waves will be used to create a score for this run. That score will be attached to the amount of andros that you betted, right, or allocated or gave up, right? And that run will be stored on our database. Another player can also play challenges mode and bet a certain amount of andros as well, and the database will randomly decide, not randomly, but pseudo randomly decide what two challenges to compare, right? And the player who gets the highest time or the better time will gain both sets of andros. And so you can see how the idea of the game is to like put up some andros, make a good run, and then someone else can do the same thing, and whoever wins out of that comparison of the scores will get the andros and the points and the currency. That is then attached to a leaderboard that showcases to everyone who has been, successfully gaining andros from this competition that we have. And yeah, that's essentially how the system works.
Yeah, and just to add on and clarify a little bit. So when Zen says the randomness, so essentially what we're doing is we're designing the system to have two functionalities. So one functionality, which will come a little bit later, is you'll be able to directly challenge somebody in challenge mode. So for example, if Bronomics and King Oro are having a disagreement about who's better at the game, well, then King Oro can put his money where his mouth is, essentially put up a certain amount of andros and directly challenge Bronomic and say, hey, I challenge you, and the only thing that you get to see is the amount of andros put up for the challenge. If Bronomics is up to the challenge, he's going to match that amount of andros. So let's say, for example, Oro puts up 500 andros, Bronomics matches that 500 andros. Whoever has the better score between the two runs will receive all of the andros. And so it's a way that we can actually create this PvP type of game mode while still keeping the game a solo player versus environment type of game. And it allows you to then determine your success by the amount of andros you're actually taking from the various different opponents in game. Now, the functionality and the way that Zen described it are for those people who want to take andros not from any specific person. They just want to play challenge mode. So essentially the system does like a randomized matchmaking where it allows you to connect. Like, some people just, not all of us have friends, right? Or people that we know who play the same game. So if you don't have that, this system that Zen just described allows like this random matchmaking to basically match you up with somebody else who's similarly situated to you in terms of the amount of andros that they put up, and it allows you to challenge them very, very seamlessly without having to go search for somebody specifically, like hunting in the Discord, who's going to challenge me. However, that's going to be cool as well. And then, as Zen said, it's linked to a leaderboard for andros taken. So as you guys are very familiar with the current leaderboard system, that tracks your score. So in the challenge mode, the way that you get on top of the leaderboard is literally by cumulative amount of andros taken. So that doesn't mean andros earned in survival mode. That doesn't mean andros purchased in the store like a normal in-game currency. That means the andros that you specifically took from somebody else because you were better than them in the run. And so we're really, really excited for this because it's gonna start to create this competitive environment that we've really, really wanted to have in this game. That's more than just a score-based leaderboard, and it's going to allow people to do their 1v1s, do their PvP battles, flex on each other. And when this happens, I'm so very excited to see the Outcast collection, the Sevens collection, going at it for supremacy on top of these leaderboards because what we're going to do is eventually guilds are also going to come into the game and things and factions or whatever your gaming terminology that you like to call them into the game, and then factions will also be rewarded based off the play of their members. So
Yeah.
there's so much more complexity that's coming to the game. It's just we need to develop one step at a time to make sure these new updates don't break the game because we want you
Yeah.
guys to still be able to play it. But yes, that's essentially what's coming. And just to piggyback off something that Zen said before, in survival mode, as you guys can tell, you're always starting with these base weapons, right? And so essentially the goal of survival mode is to find these materials, find these resources, find these blueprints to then craft really, really incredible weapons, armor, upgrade your character, et cetera. And then you can take your crafted weapons, anything that's in your inventory essentially into challenge mode, because when you go into challenge mode, you're not leveling up, you're not getting experience, you're not earning weapons or anything. The whole point of challenge mode is to go in with the best advantage that you possibly can do in order to take somebody else's Andros. And the cool thing, what we're going to do with challenge mode as it grows, is we will be having different tiers of challenge mode, and it's greatly inspired by various different um, games that they have today, because sometimes there's a challenge mode for beginners, and then sometimes there's a challenge mode for people who have tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of Andros in their account. So
Mm.
it's one of those, if you want to make those those big boy matches, as we like to call them, where you're slanging around like 10,000 Andro matches, then you're gonna have to be in this higher tier challenge mode account. And the way that you get there is actually by having a minimum amount of Andros. And what this does is it allows for people who want a bit of more high stakes, because obviously we know how many degenerates we have in the community and in the industry. So if you want more high stakes, you can be in the higher mode. If you want more low stakes, you're in the lower mode. But it's
Mm.
just a way to facilitate competition, facilitate some friendly competition amongst our communities, and then obviously amongst the newer IPs that we start to onboard into the ecosystem.
Mm. 100%. Crypto will ask a question about how will we make sure manage that level 1 character doesn't challenge level 20 character, and essentially it's like Michael said, the base mechanism that we'll be using to handle these sort of like random games or matches would be the amount of Andros that you're putting on the line, right? A level 1 character probably isn't gonna have like 10,000 Andros to put on the line for a match, and so that sort of like creates that separation. You're only gonna really get matches with people who are betting in around the same range as you, and so that's gonna like sort of create a sort of balancing that you're looking for, depending on how obviously this is still development wise, right? In practice, if stuff starts to look like, oh, people are still sort of fighting people who are out of their leagues and stuff like that, then we can definitely add some more safeguards, such as comparing levels, comparing weapons and stats, to then see and balance the game a bit more. But for now, the base safeguard will be like the number of Andros that you're putting on the line. Oh, and to piggyback off what Michael said about the being able to bring your own items into the game, one of the new things that's going to be coming up is that we'll be adding more items that you can actually craft and use in the game. And so actually, what I have on my screen here is the new game mode, the new challenge mode. And if I start and you notice, I'm actually using one of the new weapons. It's a metal pipe. It's one of the models that we have for
Zen,
the weapons in the game.
sorry to interrupt you, brother. We
Yeah.
don't see. I'm not. I don't see any of that on screen right now. It's just our 4 talking bubbles, and then is there a way for you to make the the gameplay take up the entire screen so they can see it?
Oh, yeah, I think William could be able to like double click on it, and then it should.
Yeah, William, do you know what I'm talking about? If you look at the actual YouTube, you see, yeah, there it is. That's my boy.
Yeah. So currently, I have equipped a metal pipe, which is just a different weapon that we have available to craft, and you'll be able to select the weapons you want to use, put them in, and then this would be just you using it in the game mode. And so we have a new map as well. The initial one waves 1 to 5 are similar, so you'll be seeing the perks coming up, you'll be seeing the enemies spawning in certain like a certain amount of them, that sort of thing. Wave clear, all stuff that you're familiar with. But the map has been designed to make it a bit smaller, a bit more compact, and a bit more easy to see where everything is. Because the main focus isn't necessarily to navigate the map or anything like that. The main focus is to kill the enemies as quickly as possible. I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna use some of my developer powers.
The developer powers are special, everyone.
But yeah, so the map itself is just like this. As you can see, I'm just gonna quickly just delete everything or kill everything. But yeah.
Zen entering God mode.
And yeah, so this basically plays the same.
See, he doesn't have the base weapon anymore. He
Yeah.
chose the metal pipe for this one. Obviously,
Mhm.
you guys know there's so many different weapons right now in the Outcast and Sevens collections. So you'd be able to use all the weapons in the game now. So if your character came with a weapon, that's the weapon that you guys currently have and currently equipped. But that doesn't mean that's the only weapon you can have in your inventory. You can obviously craft more, and then equip these weapons and armors before you go into the challenge mode. But the reason that the challenge mode is so cool is because it actually allows you to play now with these new weapons. And as you guys will see once the game mode goes live, and once we actually push these weapons into the main game that you guys can play, you'll see that these weapons come with their own animations, or excuse me, with their own special effects. So we've added a ton of new special effects in the game. It's not just the basic slash anymore. And also, as you're playing the survival mode, you'll start to notice your character getting stronger. We've added in a lot of different visual cues of your character actually getting stronger. So you'll be able to see, like, on his body, for example, like little lightning bolts coming out. You'll see like the general progression of the actual special effects that you're using. You'll start to see more combos and things like that coming. So the game is slow and steady becoming a lot more dynamic, a lot more complex, and that's just the way we like it, because we have very big plans for this game moving forward. And also, like we've told you so many times, this game and everything you see in this game, from the enemies to the movement to the crafting system to the in-game marketplace that Zen's going to describe here in a second, all of that will be available in the bigger open world game that we're developing. And essentially, with that open world game, you guys are gonna get a taste of like what it means here. And these two modes, the survival mode to the challenge mode, is actually like a very good example of how these games will work work within one another, in the sense that in the smaller game, which is Swarms, your goal will be to train, get blueprints, all this good stuff, to then level up your character so then he won't get just rocked in the bigger game. So that's kind of like what we're doing on a miniature scale here with these two modes. You go into survival mode, you get your blueprints, you get your crafting materials, you craft stuff to then take into the real game, which is the Andros, which is the challenge mode, to take people's Andros, level up your characters, level up your amount of Andros that you have, and use the weapons that you've crafted and fought so hard for in the survival mode. And then eventually, we plan to expand on the survival mode, putting both a casual and a ranked mode. So then you'll be able to use your weapons in the casual mode as well. But the ranked mode will start off like essentially the same mode that you've been playing. But we're really excited, like I said, to add in these other features. because it's very, very easy for us now to, as you guys are fighting against each other and earning your andros, it becomes very easy for us now to develop new game modes, and essentially keep expanding on this beautiful loop that we've created so far.
Yeah, I just wanted to add as well, regarding the game mode. One of the features that I don't know if I necessarily said, but you could see it if you're watching gameplay, is that the specific change to challenge mode is that you have to get a kill every 10 seconds from in the enemies, or else you will your run will end. So you have two ways to lose the game, or losing this game mode, where it's by either dying first, or it's not being able to get 10 kills. Sorry, not being able to get a kill every 10 seconds. And so one of the things is that we didn't want to have the player just running away from the enemies, which is something that you can kind of do. It's hard, but you can kind of run away from the enemies if there wasn't this system that forced you to continually engage the enemies, continually fight the enemies in order to keep your run alive. So this additional feature of this mode means that it's this red timer here on the bottom. This additional feature means that if you decide, I can't kill any more enemies, I need to run away, after a few seconds, the run will end for you. Yeah. And so that's like the essence of the game mode, where we want you to fight the enemies, we want you to try your best with your weapons that you've made, you've crafted, to get a good score, and then this score is what's used to decide whether you're winning or losing the bets that you make.
Yep, perfectly well said, Zen. Perfectly well said. Now, one of the things you guys might be wondering is essentially other than these game modes, how am I going to get these weapons? Really quick, let me just look at the chat. TGE dependent on certain KPIs and having X amount of DAUs, etc. Yes, Jason, that's a really good question. Right now, this is mostly me, and VJ and William and Goodfoot, but we have been in and out the last few weeks of venture capital meetings, talking to various different venture capitalists, because what we're trying to do is for the TGE is we want to get a VC on our cap table, officially, because essentially in this industry, your legitimizing factor to the world is that you just have some kind of venture capital on your cap table. So we're trying to find the right venture capital person to put on our cap table. We've talked to so many. We've really, really liked 3 of them so far to offer terms to, but we have more meetings coming up, essentially. So once that happens, and we raise that initial bit of capital, essentially 90% of that will be going to marketing and brand awareness, user acquisition. So then that essentially allows us to fully market the TGE, how it properly should be marketed, create that hype, create that brand awareness, launch these, create and launch these really cool anime promo promo trailers that we want to launch, which then we're basically cooking. And so once that happens, we will be re-engaging on the TGE timeline. It's just right now, as I'm sure you guys have seen, a lot of people are very down bad on gaming specific TGEs for games that don't have, the player base, monetization, things like that. So this allows us, while we're doing this venture capital hunt right now, it allows us as a company to get the game to a point where not only do we have users playing it on a daily basis, like you said, that's a really important KPI, DAU, but we also have actual monetization in game that isn't fully reliant on token speculation and NFT sales, because the biggest Achilles heel, in my opinion, right now of the Web3 space is games aren't generating any revenue outside of speculation. And games aren't generating any revenue because their entire model is based off of speculation rather than making a fun game that players come in and want to play. So that's why we focus so much on actually making a fun game that gamers want to play, to then add in like traditional monetization avenues. Because if a game is totally based on speculation, with how the current attention economy is, where a game can launch and be the greatest game ever, the most hyped game ever, but then the hype dies 3 months later because another hype game comes out and all the player base leaves. We don't want that to happen to our game, and we don't want the speculative period to be 3 months and then the game just never comes back. So that's why we've designed a game where anybody can play it. That's why we chose mobile. We designed a game that's complex enough to be cool for the esports players, but casual enough that anybody can pick it up and play whenever they want. And then obviously, like I said, we're putting in these little gamification levers in there to promote competition, actually using the ecosystem. And you're going to see, as Zen goes over the peer-to-peer marketplace that's coming in, you're going to see how we've now incentivized not only you guys to try to get Andros, to then craft, to then challenge each other, but to also create what I like to call the foundation of our in-game economy, which will be the economy that spreads throughout the entire Andromeda ecosystem. But first, it will start in swarms. But I will let Zen explain exactly how we're doing that.
Yeah, we'll do. Should I show the UI that Marco made for it? Because I think it's still in slight development. Do I have the UI actually? No, I don't actually. I don't have the picture for it.
Okay. Just so you guys know, all the UI screens that you've seen so far today, all of these screens will be finalized by Thursday. That's the deadline Marco's given us, and Thursday is kind of like the long shot, so they could actually be finished before. But all these screens will be finished by Thursday. Once Thursday happens, we'll be able to start implementing them into the game. So when I said the game is going to be totally different in about 2 to 3 weeks, we weren't kidding. But yeah, take it away, Zen.
Sweet, yeah. So the P2P trading system, the goal of the system is just to allow players who've interacted with the crafting system, or just played some of the survival game and have maybe some rare items that they don't necessarily have the resources to use yet, but maybe someone else does. The ability to just still profit from that, situation. Whether they can trade it for Andros or trade it for other items, some sort of like exchange between people. The way that the system works is we're developing essentially a auction house where players will be able to have items in their inventory that they want to sell, and they'll be able to make like a ticket that contains the item that they want to sell, the amount that Andros they want to sell it for, or what they want in exchange for it. And that ticket will be put up on our database, and that ticket will be available to see by all players in the trading UI that's going to be in the game. Sorry. No, it's all right. Yeah, so the trading UI that's going to be in the game is going to just have a list of all the different sell options that people have put up. Whether it's they want to sell like a whole weapon, or they want to sell like a single component that's rare, like a rare component that has maybe really good stats, or it might just be they want to sell a specific resource. And all of those items that you have that will be available in that section. And as a buyer, you'll be able to hop onto the trading UI and see like, I need 50 scrap metal, or I need this component to make this weapon, or I need this blueprint to make this weapon. And then you'll be able to accept this offer, or accept the offer, and you will receive the item, give the Andros or whatever item you've put up as like a alternative, and then you'll be able to like carry on and then use the item that you've just traded for to make your own new weapon or new equipment, whether that's to use in game or maybe even to trade yourself, right? That's up to you. You want to give the players like the freedom to choose what they want to use the items for, and what they want to use, like, and how they want to go about like collecting the items. And so this kind of just adds a secondary avenue to collect resources, to collect blueprints, components, weapons, without having to necessarily grind for hours through survival or through any other game mode that we add into the game to get a specific component or a specific blueprint.
And just to add on top of that, this is going to be really, really important because what you guys are going to see is I'm sure you guys are very familiar with in-game stores, right? So we're going to have an in-game store, that essentially the game is selling items, and then we're going to have this peer-to-peer marketplace where you guys as the users can actually run the economy yourselves. And so how we've incentivized this like peer-to-peer trade is all the items in the in-game store are gonna be what we call treasure chests, or you guys might be familiar with them as like loot boxes or drop packs. And imagine like back in the day with Pokemon cards, for example, when you got the pack of Pokemon cards, you never knew what was in it. Anything could be in it. You could have silver packs, there was gold packs, various different colors. So you had an idea of potentially getting something amazing, but you never actually knew what you were going to get. So same thing here is there's going to be a drop pack system in the game where the only thing that's being sold in the stores are these drop packs. So you might get something amazing, you might get something not so amazing, you might get the exact resources that you need to craft the item that you want, or you might not. So what that does is it allows people to get and collect different items, different materials, et cetera, to then go sell, what they need in the market, or excuse me, what they don't need in the marketplace, or to go buy what they're truly looking for in the marketplace. And it's a way to kind of like connect the community together. You're not always buying from the store that's like the game store. You start buying from each other. And so we're really, really excited about this mechanic, just because we believe it's going to promote that community feeling, community sentiment, kind of like creating like an online bazaar, which is a very old school term for marketplace, right inside the game, which I don't see a ton of Web3 games successfully doing that yet. And a lot of it comes from inspiration from past very, very successful in-game economies. So we're really, really excited about this feature because we think that it's going to lead to quite a bit of interaction amongst players, not only in game but all around the world, kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. Like we said earlier in the stream, one of the goals is to bring this sort of player to player interaction, a sense of multiplayer to the game, a bit quicker. Obviously we have future plans to add like proper multiplayer for missions and proper multiplayer for like, some of these challenges and these game modes. But, a good way to make it so that it feels and is like you're playing with other people or playing together as like a community is by having these systems like the challenge mode and the trading system. It really adds to the depth of the game. It really adds to the feel of the game, and it means that, like, let's say you want to onboard's not the right word. Let's say you want to invite a friend to play with you, right? You're able to help them out a little bit. You can trade some of your items to them to help them out, give them an easier start, or you could even help them out with through the challenges or the bets to help train them, make them better at the game, all that sort of stuff. And so I think it just makes the game feel a bit more community orientated and friendly. Crypto says
And
that it's not a small game anymore.
yes, and eventually, like we guys have told you from literally 3 years ago, our goal is to make this entire gaming ecosystem that runs on a self-sufficient, um, player-owned and operated economy. So when I say that we wanted to make a full-blown economy in game, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So you can see that through your own gameplay, earning these materials, you can essentially start earning rewards just by going in the marketplace and selling these materials. So there's so many ways to reward yourself in this game. And I'm sure you guys are like, oh, well, what do you mean by reward yourself? Well, the that's where the Andros versus shards come in. So as you guys know, the cryptocurrency that we're going to be eventually launching is called shards, shard token, and essentially Andros and shards work within one another. So essentially, the way that we bridge this idea between Web2 gamers and the Web3 gamers is we start the Web2 experience in game, just like any gamer has been used to for the last, essentially like 10 years of games introducing their in-game currencies the way they have. So in game, you can buy your Andros, you can earn your Andros, you can steal your Andros, just like we talked about through this stream. And then once we launch the shard token, you're gonna be able to take these Andros, sign into your account as you normally would, just like you just did on Andromeda.gg, except now you'll sign in in the Andromeda marketplace. All of your Andros will be there, just like they would in game. You'd be able to burn these Andros, right? And you'll receive an equivalent amount of shard token. And what that means by equivalent amount is essentially we've created what's called a variable bonding curve, which is a complicated math equation that allows us to basically scale the cost of Andros with the market rate of shards. So what that means in simple terms for people like me who hate math is if I bought Andros in game and I bought a certain amount for, let's say, $20, just like you would normally buy like Robux or COD points or whatever. I bought $20 worth in game, and let's say at that exact moment, the market priced the shard token and it went up 300% in that same hour. What the variable bonding curve does is it makes sure that the player who just spent $20 isn't getting this like crazy appreciation windfall of money. It's still that they have essentially $20 worth of Andros. So if they wanted to burn it for the shards, they would get the equivalent of like that $20 that they spent. And the reason that we do this is twofold. We want to curb cheaters because obviously with in-game currencies, there's a lot of ways to try to hack that. So it allows us to, kind of keep a little bit of control over people trying to fraud or scam the system. And then it allows a way for you to essentially take your in-game rewards and in-game achievements out of the game and turn them into tradable blockchain assets. And that's like the magic of the ecosystem, how we're able to combine the traditional gameplay with the with a little bit of Web3 speculation, Web3 degeneracy, because you can actually extract your achievements from the game, from the streaming service, from all the other games that are going to be onboarded into the ecosystem, into shard token to then trade peer-to-peer with each other, to then go to SushiSwap, Uniswap, whatever you want. Do whatever you want with it. That is out of our hands as a company, but that should give you like a pretty good understanding about how the ecosystem works. And eventually, we will open governance in the ecosystem with the shard token, and we're going to have you guys voting on various different things like collections coming in, new games that you want to see developed, new game modes that you want entered into the game. There's so much. And this way, we're literally having this like community-driven, community-led gaming ecosystem where your in-game achievements can actually be turned into real-world rewards. So that's kind of the point or the flow of the ecosystem. And yeah, I hope if you have any questions about that, please put them in the chat, put them in the Discord. We're also going to be releasing an article that just goes into a little bit more detail about the relationship between the two tokens. But yeah, we're really, really excited about this model because we can see it becoming uh, a model that a lot of Web3 games start to use, because the biggest issue with Web3 gaming, other than the complexity of it, is players. They need players. And right now, gamers are traditional gamers. So how do you get them into the game? You give them a bridge. And this is the bridge that we've made. So we're really, really excited to start onboarding users. We're really excited to start onboarding TradFi Trad Gaming, because when you onboard real gamers and they like your game, they generally tend to figure out every nook and cranny of the game. You've seen it with the very popular games in the past, like Counter-Strike Go. Everybody knows that you can earn money selling skins on Skin Wallet. World of Warcraft, I think they've shut down some of their third-party sites, but the difference between us and these games is those games actually specifically prohibit this type of behavior of like selling assets and selling items, da 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 da. We never want to prohibit these things because you guys are the owners of these assets. This is your time. This is what you guys have put into the game. And we believe as a company that you should not be penalized for trying to reward yourself off your own achievements. So we're really, really pumped for this system. We hope you guys like it too. And also, obviously, when it fully goes live, any feedback that we can get is going to be amazing, because it'll help us make the system better, tweak it, et cetera, et cetera. What else? What else, Zen? What have we not?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
yet?
about too. I mean, I guess the only thing that I haven't shown is the new effects. Some of the
Oh, you guys want to see some new special effects?
yeah, we do have.
We can show those off a little bit. I like it.
Sweet,
So
sweet.
our team's been in the lab, guys. We've been developing. Marco's been in the lab, so we've got a bunch of new, like I told you before, special effects being added into the game, because we have a ton of new weapons being added into the game. So yeah, Zen can show off a couple of them.
Yep, will do. I'll set that up right now. Change windows. Let's. How does that look on
Jason? When you say accessibility, I assume you mean jurisdictional. What we're probably going to have to do is, well, if I'm being honest, there's been a lot of crazy things that have happened in the last like 4 days with the SEC. So I need to digest all of essentially these crazy things that are happening. When I say crazy, I mean like so many things might change now because of these court rulings that have came out. The elimination of the Chevron case yesterday, like that, it's a whirlwind, and it's kind of we're in a little bit of a holding pattern for like just like 2 or 3 days. Not us as a company, like lawyers around the country, because we just have to see like how the cards fall from these new judicial rulings. But so many things may be different, which directly helps crypto, helps a lot of different industries grow, like AI and technology and medical industry, da da da. But it also would definitely directly help the crypto industry grow as well. So as things stand right now, we'll likely have to geofence the Andromeda marketplace, where you can burn your Andros for Shard token. Obviously, we can't control anything that you guys do, so we can only do our best to stop you. But obviously, there's nothing that's foolproof. But like I said, this could be changing based off these recent rulings that substantially limit or kneecap the SEC's power and the power of the federal government in general. So I'm really, really excited for that, because it could make my life as a very legal compliant CEO much easier. So we'll keep you posted on that as we get closer. But great question, great question.
Any requirement? Let me just scroll here. Oh, I think we would all love to see.
Crypto will. Yeah, so as you can tell, some of these new some of these new special effects will clearly make the gameplay better. Some of these
Yeah.
special effects will be will be coupled with new augmentations for your weapons. So like
Yep.
let's say you see a special effect that's yellow, the enemies might actually be electrocuted from this effect. So you'll get to see how the game grows and how your own power as the game goes on grows as well. How different augmentations for different weapons allows customization, and I think as you guys have been watching this stream, you're seeing the foundations of how this is going to become a much bigger RPG type game when we launch the bigger game, which I actually was working with VJ this week, and we're workshopping the name The Chosen, or Chosen, excuse me, no the for the bigger game with the title Battle for Andromeda as like the second tagline underneath it.
I like it.
So
I like it a
yeah,
lot.
what do you guys think? I forgot to tell you, Zen and
Yeah.
William, about that. I thought it was cool because I was like, we could do a lot of cool graphics with the word chosen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty on brand for what we're doing in the universe. So
Yeah.
I loved it. I think it's a really cool name. I hope the blackout screen issue can be fixed soon. What's the blackout screen issue, Jason?
Blackout screen issue. I don't seem to
Yeah.
see that.
Jason said, I hope the blackout screen issue can be fixed soon. Yeah, tell us about it so we can fix it. We haven't heard that one.
Oh,
yet.
blackout screen issue. It might be because is it Jason? Is it when you first start loading into the game? Because if it is, it's a verification step. Whenever you open the game, a screen plays right before you go into the game to check if you have the latest version. And so that might be it.
So he has to update the game. So if he's getting a black screen, you're saying he's got to update the game?
Yeah, but usually the black screen is followed by like a pop-up that says update the game. So I might be not thinking about the right thing he's talking about.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jason, we'll absolutely look into that. If you can describe the issue in a little bit more. Did he describe it?
Yeah, it's when the camera goes through the walls. Yeah.
Oh yes. These absolutely have been brought to our attention. So
Yeah.
once all these cool things that we've talked about come into the game, the developers are basically going to take what we like to call a deep breath phase. And what's going to happen is in the deep breath phase is basically they're going to go back, they're going to fix some of the core functionalities of the game, smooth out the movement a little bit more, because essentially we wanted to get the game to this level of competition where you guys can start competing against each other than just in the standard survival leaderboard. So now that the game will have the in-game marketplace, the P2P store, the new game mode, the crafting system, now we're going to enter what's called the deep breath phase, which allows us to go back, fix a ton of stuff, make sure that everything is polished, working well. And one of the issues that will be solved during that is exactly what you're talking about right now, Jason. And then following this, they get right back to work on putting in some new features, which I know Zen talked about before: the procedural generation,
Yep.
the actual
new missions as well.
multiplayer, new missions. Yes, there'll be new mission modes in there that will basically allow you to earn in-game currency as well for these missions. So there's so many different things, and that's why you're going to want to be stacking your andros as high as you can. You're going to obviously want to use your andros to craft and make cooler weapons as well, because that's going to lead to you earning more andros as well. But this is the period of andro accumulation, because once the token goes live, that's when the andros have a little bit more to them. So just keep that in mind. You get a little alpha for your strategies as you move forward playing the game, and as the andros are fully introduced into the world of Andromeda.
Some real life directors would probably love to have the camera go through the walls.
Definitely. Yeah,
it's definitely like one of those it's not even really a bug. It's more of just like a quirk from the initial development of the game. Yeah, it's not a difficult fix. It's just a matter of like making the map a bit more friendly with a camera.
But yeah, does anybody that's kind of essentially everything that we wanted to show you guys today, tell you guys
Yeah.
about what we've been doing. Obviously, as you guys can see, the game has a ton of things coming that makes it much more complex, much more dynamic, and hopefully just more enjoyable for you all to play. And we're really, really excited about that because obviously the game is far from being finished, but well, not far, but the game is not finished yet. But once it is finished, it will be a game that is appropriate to also play on consoles.
Mm.
And there's a specific console that we have in mind that we're the only Web3 company in the space to have their credentials to be able to launch on. And I don't know if you saw, but I posted a picture of our team the other day, and there was one little partnership crossed out under red. That is the partnership that we're talking about that we can't wait to be on their console. So you stay tuned because we will be the first Web3 game to launch on this console once we get a little bit farther in development, because you're not allowed to launch betas of games on this console. But once we get close to our gold version, you bet your ass will be the first game to be launching on there. And then obviously, as we onboard other games into Andromeda, we'll be able to launch other Web3 games on this console as well as essentially the publisher behind them. So we're pretty hyped. I'll release the name of who I'm specifically talking about a little bit closer once we get more of a clear indication of when the TGE is going to be happening. But yeah, that's a special one for me. That's a bit of a bucket list check mark. So we can't wait to share that with you. And then maybe one last piece of alpha, which I've already shared with the VIP whales of the community. So why not share with our loyal people who come to our dev streams? We have been given the green light, and this is still very early days, so no one get too excited. But we had a meeting. I had a meeting with VJ on Monday with Paramount, the big multi-billion-dollar media conglomerate, and also the owners of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles IP. And because of Swarms and the gameplay that they saw, we have now been given the green light to submit a proposal to potentially be the developers of the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. And why is that a big deal? Well, A, it will immediately come with crazy brand awareness. B, it comes with a huge developer contract, which allows us to do a lot of things that we're trying to do right now in a lot quicker fashion. And then C, we might be able to fully onboard, TMNT into our already established games, which again would be huge for Andromeda and the quality of IPs that are onboarding into our universe. So that's a little bit of alpha for you. Like I said, still very early days. We were only invited to submit a proposal, but just the fact that we were invited to submit a proposal based off of the gameplay is huge, in my opinion.
Cool. Yeah.
And just a very cool opportunity to potentially do something like massive in the space that other companies haven't been able to accomplish. So we've now proven that we can make really fun games, and we can't wait to continue making them even more fun for your enjoyment. But yeah, I just wanted to share that a little bit of alpha. Nothing's official at all, but at least we're getting in the rooms with the people for these big opportunities that are crazy to think about. Let's say even just 5 years ago.
100%. 100%.
Jason, I'd love to talk to you about that, bro. Whenever, shoot me a message in the Discord. Also tag Goodfoot in the message as well. But yeah, we'd love to talk. As you can tell, we love hiring out of our community, and one of our biggest areas of need right now is like an actual internal marketing person. So we hired Zenkuro out of the community. We hired Lorso out of the community. We hired Spidey out of the community, who's currently crushing it on our social medias. We've hired a ton of actually people who are on the team out of the community. So definitely, Jason, if you have a proclivity for growing brand awareness and raising brand awareness and things like that, definitely hit us up. We could use all the help we can get, because at the end of the day, if we all succeed, we all succeed. So absolutely, shoot us a message. But I think, guys, that is a pretty good place to stop for today. I think we've given out some pretty stellar information. You guys have a good idea of what's to come. Like I said, the first implementations will probably happen within the next 10 days or so. And then everything that we showed you will be in the game before the end of July. So we're really, really pumped for you guys to play it. We're currently talking to a couple other communities who we want to onboard into Andromeda as well. If you guys are familiar with any communities who potentially might want to get into Andromeda, let us know. We're happy to talk to anybody. We try to keep all of our development costs as low as possible for these first few communities to be onboarded in. So just let us know, because we can get you in quickly, and that just helps grow the ecosystem right away. So we're really, really pumped. Thank you guys for coming out to our dev stream. Yeah, obviously it's a Saturday. You guys can be doing anything else, but you guys are here with us. This dev stream, of course, is recorded, so share it around. We're going to be releasing walkthrough videos soon that walk you through the crafting, the marketplace, all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, anything else, Zen or William, that you think we should add?
No, I think we got it all cleared up. Yeah. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting us. It's always appreciated, and it's never forgotten.
Well said, Zen. Well said. So everybody, enjoy your weekends. If you have questions, please put them in the Discord. Like I said, we're going to be dropping this article about Shards versus Andros soon. So if you have questions on that, also put them in the Discord. Please share the article around. Help us hype this up as much as possible, because with you guys, community-led hype is, in my opinion, the best type of hype any brand, project, company could have. So you guys are our lifeblood. Jason, would love to talk to you some more. But let's kill it, everybody. Andros are coming up. Andromeda is coming up. It's our turn next. It's time to evolve the space into a real space of maturity where people have things that they want to play and want to have fun with. So thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time for Dev Stream number 8.